Hey Eagle Nation, welcome on into episode 4 of the Eye on the Eagles podcast. I'm your host Tim Hackett, joined by head football coach Marc Benavidez. Later on, our director of athletics Shawn Summe will introduce you to 2 basketball student athletes so you can learn about their stories, about their journeys, their paths here at Avila, and get you set for the basketball season, which kicks off in a little less than a month from now. But Coach Benavidez, we'll start with you. First of all, congratulations, you get your first win of the season after a week off unexpectedly a week ago, so let's start there. You're now 1-1 on the season, get a win over a solid Friends team. What's your biggest takeaway from the game?
First off, it's always good to finally get that first win, have success, and make sure our guys know that, we've been here since August 6th, and here it is, getting close to October now, taking a long time to finally get a win because we've only played 2 games, but knowing that our guys, they battled the entire time. Wish we could have had a little bit easier of a victory, I guess, and at one point it looked that way. But our guys didn't give up, and they made the plays at the end of the game when they needed to make them.
Let's go back a step or so because, like we said, there was an unexpected off game, but not necessarily an off week. The game against St. Mary's, as you know, postponed, and so Friends became your second game rather than your third game. Was there anything different in your preparation? Like, did you guys really get any time off in that off week?
Not really too much. I mean, with us finding out about St. Mary's about 26, 27 hours before the game, there wasn't enough time for us to really switch up what we'd have on a typical week. So really the only thing that was different was Saturday. We simply didn't play a game. We gave everybody just really the day off, the time to kind of recover, back away from football mentally, physically, everything. And then Sunday was right back to Friends. And so nothing really changed too much. We got a little bit extra time to somewhat prepare for Friends and watch a little bit more film just on that Saturday. But other than that, not much difference.
Now let's talk about the Falcons a little bit. For the second straight game, can't say the second straight week now, the second straight game, you guys start off the scoring early on in the first quarter with a defensive touchdown. Week 1 against Bethel was Ryan Pettifray with a fumble recovery for 80-plus yards. This week it was Nik Furlow with a 90-plus yard strip and score.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the most impressive plays that I've seen. What was that like on the sideline?
It was great. I mean, you watch the sideline, the film, you got everybody on the team jumping up and down. I'm chest bumping, I think, our coach Alexander, our DC, and it's very exciting. It's always great as a head coach and even an offensive guy to where when your team can score points, not on offense, you take a lot of the pressure off the offense as well. But that was huge. That was a huge point for the game, just making sure our entire team was fired up, and I think that was a big reason we had that spark and had a huge first half.
Yeah, a huge first half doesn't begin to describe it, because then the offense starts to get clicking. You guys go up 20-0 at one point, and like you said, it looked like it might start to get out of hand. That's kind of what I was thinking at that time, but so let's start there. Pretty good start for the team. The defense sets the tone, and the offense moves down there and scores two touchdowns on 2 possessions. Running game's clicking, passing game's clicking with a big strike from Tristan Askin and Christian Hopkins. Everything's looking pretty good right there.
Yeah. I mean, early in the game, we got to the point, all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams are all clicking, looking great. But something I'll mention to everybody, on the team, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and there's a couple times later on in the game, one person just didn't make the throw, didn't make the read, didn't make the block, didn't make the tackle, whatever. And going against a pretty solid Friends team, it's not like we're playing some, pushovers or something there either. To where they ended up coming back, they had a great game plan themselves. And again, fortunately for us, when we needed to make the play, we made the play.
I was going to ask that about Friends because they were preseason picked to finish towards the bottom of the conference. You guys, of course, were picked to finish 3rd. But coming into the game, they looked better than that. They played Kansas Wesleyan, all right, they gave up 70 points, but I mean, not really anything to sneeze at there. Then they beat a solid Tabor team on the road, beat them by 10. So, I mean, what did you learn about Friends? They look like a better team than what I expected going in.
Yeah, I mean, I know watching film from them last couple weeks, and then really comparing their team compared to last year, they really did a good job recruiting and fixing some of the weaknesses they had on their squad to where they matched up against us fairly well. You could see in the game they did a lot of tempo. They were trying to do whatever they can to run through our defense, and sometimes had success, unfortunately. And same thing on their defensive side. They had some really big guys. I mean, look at their front 7. They were really focused on stopping the run. And even though we had about 200 rushing yards, they did a good job for the most part doing that. To where, again, it was a solid team. They're not going to be a team that's only going to win 3 games this year. I mean, they're going to have some success.
But you still beat them for the 3rd time in 3 attempts now since you've been a part of the KCAC starting off in 2018. They have a really good run game, like you said, a really strong tailback in Juan Salazar. Apparently a lot of really good running backs in this conference because your feature back is pretty good himself, Malik Nesbit. Had himself a nice game.
Yeah, for sure. He was a big part of the game plan, and a guy like that, just trucking through and making big plays, and there's times where stuff wasn't there, but he's still getting the first down. And, toward the end of the game, we had a 9-minute, 20-second drive to where we're running the ball, and that guy is just getting the first down when it's needed and getting it done. And, again, having 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing, pretty solid day.
Career highs in carries, rushing yards, and, of course, those 3 touchdowns. Also a career high this week for Malik Nesbit. So we talked a little bit about him preseason because obviously he split time pretty much in more or less a timeshare last year. This year you're expecting him to be the feature back. Has he lived up to those expectations so far through 2 games?
Yeah, definitely. Again, week 1 he was player of the week for us. Last week we really chose, or this past week really chose the entire offensive line to be players of the week for us because of how well they performed. But he definitely has been. Jaquise Watkins is really the number 2 running back, and he's a guy who's going to continuously get more time as well. But yeah, Nesbit, at one point in time, the guy looks like one of the best offensive linemen we have out there, how he blocks and great hands for the most part, even though he did drop a pass this past weekend. But very solid guy and something that's just going to be a huge part of our offense going here on out.
And you got to mix in a couple of new pieces, I guess. Jaquise Watkins got his first extended look as the number 2 back. John Jacobs got his first action in at quarterback. Was that always kind of the plan? Because that was kind of something that was floated around a little bit. Split time at quarterback this week?
Yeah, definitely. Practice reps have been split, and that's something that continuously throughout the season. Both those guys, Tristan Askin and John, can each perform each play and help us win games. And really, whoever's doing a good job during practice, whoever's doing consistently the right thing, making the right reads, they're going to get the most of the playing time.
Well, of course, another game coming up against another solid team in Bethany coming up this Saturday. Team that we don't know too much about simply because they've experienced kind of the same thing that you guys have this season. Had one game, their last game against Southwestern postponed. They had one game against Kansas Wesleyan. Again, I don't need to tell you, a very solid team. But Bethany hung with them for quite some time, gave up 60 points. But again, not too much, not too shabby, I guess. But what can you tell us about the Swedes?
Right, yeah. So they're a team that, with for the most part, a new coaching staff. So it's something to where we're unsure exactly what we're going to get from a scheme perspective or tendency. So it's hard to really go off of watching one game film to figure out what we're going to get on either side of the ball. But you can definitely tell watching their film, they have improved drastically. I think on defense, they have 3 returning starters. On offense, 5 returning starters. And most of those new starters are guys that would have started for them last year. And so from a personnel standpoint, fairly solid team, very athletic. Have a feeling that they're going to be doing some tempo against us and that they're going to be prepared for some of the things we have going on offense because we do have 2 game films already for those guys as well, and we've stuck with our scheme. So they kind of have the advantage of understanding what we want to do, what we try to do on both sides of the ball. But we know those guys are also going to be very motivated. So they're 0-1 right now. The new head coach, it's going to be their homecoming. So for them, this is going to be an absolutely huge game. For us, it's a huge game. And, hopefully we can come out, show everybody what we can do, execute, and have a big one.
That's another opportunity to get your second win in the season. After 2 close games, 1 win, 1 loss, 2 road games, now you're going to have a third one. As a coaching staff, what are you most looking to improve after going into game number 3?
Yeah, a big one obviously is really just focus. All of our guys collectively, we've got a fairly young roster, young squad. And if you look at those guys that have been on our travel list for people that have been going to these games, there are a bunch of freshmen or a bunch of people that are new to Avila to where I want to make sure those guys are in tune in the game, focused on the game, not concerned about who's in the stands, what they've got going on, their first experience being in Lynchburg, Kansas or wherever. To where they're simply focused on the game and being ready to go. Right now, there's a million different things that can be distractions for these guys. During the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these practices, we got to make sure we're having perfect practices. And with all the other things going on in these guys' life, obviously have to worry about academics and being successful in school. But some of these guys working jobs, social life, whatever they got going on, obviously potential quarantine issues, everything. It can be stressful. And so just making sure that these guys understand they've got to perform under pressure and still be focused on football and the task at hand.
Something we haven't even talked about is you had to break in a lot of young folks, especially on the defensive side. Mm-hmm. Offense is upperclassmen heavy with the 2 quarterbacks, the 2 top wide receivers, the running back, like we said, some veterans on the offensive line, but especially in the defensive secondary. Mm-hmm. A bunch of first-year players, and a couple of them I thought had strong games. Raekwon Crawford had a pick, it looked like that was who made the play on the 2-point conversion, right?
Yes.
Kitron
Yes.
Jones had 13 tackles, which was a game high.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2 of the 4 starting defensive backs, both freshmen, that had to make big plays this past week.
Right. And I mean, you look at all our entire defensive backfield, and those guys and some of the guys have been rotating in, all freshmen. You got Tito Smith on one side, both those safeties, corners, Bass rotating at corner as well. So we're putting a lot of stress on those young guys, but coming in, we knew those were going to be some solid recruits for us, so we're excited what they've done so far. You mentioned Kitron Jones. He's a guy that we voted for Defensive Player of the Week this past week with all those tackles, made some big-time plays for us, and so it's exciting for the future. It's kind of stressful as a coach, you got 4 freshmen back there, but it's very exciting for the future, and honestly, those guys are doing a great job with it being 2 games in. I know Bethany's going to do what they can to try to test those guys, so they're going to see on the 2 deep. Freshman. And I know they're a pass-heavy team as well, and so that's going to be exciting to kind of see how they match up. But they've done an outstanding job, and a big reason for our success this past week was all those freshmen.
Looking forward to seeing how those guys hold up against Bethany and see if you guys can make this 2 wins in a row on the road.
For sure.
Thanks a lot for being here. Football back in action this coming Saturday, October 3rd at 1 p.m. against Bethany in Lindsborg, Kansas. If you want to figure out how to tune in, how to get your tickets possibly, we'll see. Then you can stay tuned to our social media page, Avila Athletics on Twitter, and our website, avilaathletics.com. For Marc Benavidez, I've been Tim Hackett. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Eye on the Eagles. Today, we are going to take a break from our coaches, and we are going to get to know a couple of our student athletes. We're going to start with senior women's basketball player Maddie Morgan. Maddie, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to mix this up, Maddie. We're going to jump right into rapid fire here.
Oh boy.
We're going to break you in easily here. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh.
Rapid.
Shoot, I don't know. Canes.
Beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Best dressed player on your basketball team?
Ooh, I might be a little biased. I got some style.
You got none. We're in trouble with women's basketball. Favorite candy bar?
Oh, Reese's.
Favorite movie?
Oh, Coach Carter.
Favorite band or musical performer?
Matthew West.
Favorite TV show?
Friends.
Last TV show you binged?
Grey's Anatomy.
All right, there you go. That was easy. Good little start there to that. Maddie, talk a little bit about yourself. You're a senior nursing major from Paola. You excel on the court, in the classroom. You won't say any of that about yourself, so I will do that. But tell us a little bit about Maddie Morgan.
Oh, she's a busy girl. Always, studying. There's just so much to do. I like to really do well at anything I do, so I like to put in the time and the work. If I'm not studying, I'm on the court, shooting, I like to try to make time for my family, friends, but, I like to put time and energy into Avila and the nursing program and the team. So
Good. Maddie, what sports did you play as a child growing up through your high school days? What all sports did you play? Because I know you didn't play just basketball.
No. So I was a big softball player before basketball. Like, I traveled more for softball before I did basketball, which is shocking, a little. I also played volleyball, which that was just something I picked up starting in middle school. So, I wasn't really devoted to that. And then basketball really became it once I hit middle school. Like, I kind of dropped softball, which is kind of tough growing up in a softball family, but I really enjoyed basketball.
So, coming from Paola, a town with the one high school, right?
Yeah.
To South Kansas City at Avila. What was the transition like for you? Was it difficult? Was it smooth? I mean, your sister went through it as a softball player at Ottawa, but what was it like for you?
Well, so Paola, it's a small town. It's not the smallest, but we were used to the city, so the transition there wasn't that bad, but there's just a lot more city vibes, which I'm not all that used to or that fond of, but I don't know, it's just different up here compared to home, which it's a good different, just different in like, I don't know, just the style and like the vibe. I don't know if that makes sense.
So Maddie, when you're out there shooting and you're in this gym as much as you can be to shoot, your music, what is your music selection when you're shooting on the gun?
Gotta be playing country.
Yes, Maddie plays country music nonstop when she's shooting in the gun. So it's nice when you walk out of the office, you know exactly who's shooting when you hear Alan Jackson playing down there.
That's the difference in the transition from Paola and here. It's a little different, but.
Maddie, what have your first 3 years and a month at Avila been? Where have you grown as a person? Where do you see yourself after the end of this year?
As a person, I would say I've grown a lot in the past year. My freshman year, I was actually really shy. I was very quiet, just kind of stuck to myself. I went home a lot. And sophomore year, it was a rough patch, I would say. It was one of my tougher years, just trying to adapt and take on more roles on the team and go through school. And then last year, I would say I really grew in my faith more than anything, and that helped me carry over to my basketball and school because I was a first-year nursing student. And I don't know, I just grew a lot spiritually more than anywhere else, and so I think that helped me get to where I am now. I feel like I've grown up a lot, I would say, in the past 4 or 5 months, especially like COVID, like just trying to get through that and the transition and just stepping up and being there for my team as well as, you know, as a person for myself. So,
Good.
I don't know.
So Maddie, if there's a student that is interested in coming to Avila University to play a sport here, what are some of the pros? What would you say, what would be the reasons you would tell that student to further explore what they can do at Avila?
I would definitely say that just because it's a smaller school doesn't mean that the competition isn't there. The drive to win is not there, because it is definitely here on this campus. And our coaches and our staff here will do everything they can to help you grow not only as a player, but as a person. And that is really what I love about this place, is that my coaches are there for me, my staff is there for me, my professors are there for me, just trying to help me grow as a person as much before we go out to the real world, technically. But yeah, I would say that the winning culture is here at those smaller campuses that people try to avoid because it's not that D1, D2. Like, it's here too. The competition and the drive and the want to win, it's here. And that's what I came here for, is I, wanted that atmosphere. And it's definitely here.
Maddie, this year, this semester so far has been one unlike any of us have ever been through. What are some of your takeaways from the first part of this semester, and what is being done differently by you, your team, and things that normally you haven't gone through in the 3 years?
That's tough. I would say that, like in practices, there's a difference, like just being in just the 2 small groups, like having smaller groups instead of like all one together because of the whole social distancing. Our team is, I would say we all want a season. So like we're taking those extra precautions and the social distancing's like serious so that we can play and have a season in hopes of making it as far as we did last year.
And I would not let you get through this interview without trying to embarrass you a little bit. But you're the 2019 Avila University Female Athlete of the Year. You are successful in the classroom, carrying a high 3-point. I can't say it because of, FERPA rules and stuff, but you're going to graduate with high honors. You've been successful. You've got over 1,000 career points after your junior year. During your junior year, you scored your 1,000th point. What does the future hold for Maddie Morgan after this season, after you graduate and move forward?
Well, I would really like to carry over my work ethic from Avila into my career. And once I pass the NCLEX and I get a job that suits me best, I would like to really just grind and just put my care and my heart into caring for other people.
Good. One last question.
Okay.
Who's a better cook? Me or your dad?
Oh, that's tough. On the air, wow.
Yes. Yes. You don't have to answer that question. We know the true answer there. Folks, I want to thank Maddie Morgan for joining us today and taking time out of her day to talk to you a little bit about her and where she has come from to where she is now. We look forward to seeing Maddie on the court this year as the Eagles are less than a month from opening up their 2020-21 season. Until then, take care, stay safe, be healthy, and mask up. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our final segment today on today's edition of the Eye on the Eagles. We have Trey Heinrich, a junior guard on our men's basketball team, VisCom major from Spring Hill, Kansas. Trey, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, well, we had no other option. Trey, we got a list of questions. We're going to start early with rapid fire. Get you ready. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
Chicken Alfredo.
Favorite restaurant?
Olive Garden.
Beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Best dressed player on the men's basketball team?
Dante Simpson.
That's a good call. Favorite candy bar?
Snickers.
Favorite movie?
The Dark Knight.
Favorite band or musical performer?
Drake.
Favorite TV show?
The Office.
Last TV show you binged?
Criminal Minds.
All right, Trey, that might have been the best, the speediest round of rapid fire that we've had so far. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Trey, you're entering your junior season. If you can, just talk a little bit about graduated from Spring Hill and came to Avila. What was that transition like, and what has that been like for you?
Honestly, it's been a pretty smooth transition, being that Spring Hill and Avila are similar in size. It hasn't been too big of an adjustment, whereas like if I would have gone to a bigger school, it would have been a lot more 100 people classes, big classes. Avila has been a really smooth adjustment for me just because the class sizes have been so small. I've been able to get that one-on-one attention from my teachers similar to what I got in high school.
Kind of explain what is your role on the men's basketball team? We have a good mix this year of returners and a good mix of some new players, very talented players too. What is your role on the team? How do you view yourself?
Obviously, I would view myself as the veteran, so I've been here a while. I kind of know what to do and how to do it. So my role is to be vocal, not only with the transfers that we have coming in, but also with the freshmen. Just be vocal and not be afraid to speak up when I see something that someone's doing wrong, or congratulate someone when they're doing something right. Just kind of being that voice in everybody's ear, just to kind of encourage and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
What is what's your favorite thing about Avila University? What draws you here? I mean, you're a VisCom major. Just like our earlier guest, Maddie Morgan, you're successful in the classroom. So whatever you do after Avila, you're going to be successful. You prepared yourself for that. But what is it that you enjoy the most about Avila?
Obviously being close to home, so I can still see my family every week or every 2 weeks was a big plus of why I came here. But I I like the people. I really like the people. Everybody seems to care for each other. Everybody looks out for each other. And I really like that a lot.
Yeah, your family's at all the games. They're always
Yes,
it's always
sir.
nice to see them. They're just so nice and just always smiling. Except for when you have a turnover.
Yeah, they get on me for that.
Trey, what is the future hold for you?
Um,
Obviously you have 2 more years of play, but what is the future? What do you want to do with your career path?
I would honestly, my dream career would be either a sports broadcaster or a sports journalist. Just whatever keeps me around sports, keeps me engaged in whatever sports, specifically basketball. But whatever sports I could cover, I would like to cover sports.
Growing up, what other sports did you play? Were you just basketball, or did you play other sports?
I was actually a big baseball player. I didn't really like basketball when I first started. I liked baseball.
Were you more of a defensive player, or were you an offensive guy?
I kind of did everything.
You
I
could
played
swing the bat?
shortstop.
No, really?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, okay. Are the Royals your team?
I don't really have a favorite baseball team, but
Okay.
I like the Royals. I like the Chiefs.
Okay, who do you support then? Let's say NBA wise.
Chicago Bulls.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So let's go back to the debate then. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
You're going to get mad at me, but I got to go LeBron James.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinions, even when their opinions are wrong, Trey. But that's okay. That's all right. You have more knowledge on basketball than I do. So we're less than a month away from the start of season, 2021 season. What's the excitement level at right now with the team? Where do you feel we are right now?
The excitement level's high. I think everybody's ready to get back and just compete and just get back to, like you say, a sense of normalcy, just getting back to doing what we do, and that's playing basketball. So I think I'm excited. I know the guys are really excited, and we're ready. We're ready for October 26th.
Good. Trey, if you're talking to a potential recruit about Avila University, what would you tell them were the strengths of the school, the athletics, basketball? Why should they choose Avila University?
Well, like I said earlier, the small class sizes, it's really easy for them to hold you accountable. So it makes you want to go to classes, and you going to classes and doing your work, that's obviously going to translate to you getting good grades. So that would be the first thing. And then basketball-wise, I would say come here because you're going to get better. You're going to develop. We work hard. We practice hard. And Coach Sloan takes care of us. He treats us good.
Good. Trey, any departing words or anything you want to tell our fans out there watching about this year's team?
Just watch out because we're coming this year and we're gonna be good. So be ready.
All right, everybody. We want to thank Trey Heinrich for joining us today, taking time out of his day after class to come in and talk to us a little bit about the 2021 Eagles. Folks, stay healthy. Wear your masks. We look forward to seeing you in the Maybe Fieldhouse shortly. Take care. Until next time, go Eagles.